Here is how to properly use Pat Fusty in BTD6. To start, he is relatively cheap, coming in at only $800, meaning you can get him down pretty early. This is super nice because he can help out a ton in the early game when he's set to strong. You see, his main attack deals 3 damage to the balloon he slaps, and this creates a shockwave that deals 2 more damage to nearby balloons. So the initial balloon takes 5 total damage, which is enough to one-shot a pink balloon. So I like to get him down right after my starting towers, that way he can help with tough rounds like 14 and 15. This timing also lets him hit some power levels pretty early. At level 3 he learns Rallying Roar, an ability that gives all monkeys in his range +1 damage for a short time, and this can absolutely destroy hard rounds. Then, at level 5 and 6 he gains the ability to slap balloons back towards the entrance every so often and stun balloons with every hit. Both incredibly useful for buying you time, especially once Moabs start coming. What's interesting about Pat is that he levels up slower than the base heroes, as he requires 1.425 times more experience than them. But we get most of his power once he hits level 14, which he easily hits even on beginner maps, meaning despite the slow leveling, you'll still get a ton of utility out of him even though he won't be hitting level 20 most of the time. Now, where should we place him? Well, we want him right next to the track because of his short range, and close to our main damage dealer because we want Pat's Rallying Roar to affect them, and his roar helps towers with high attack speed and tons of projectiles the most. So we'll pair Pat with a Tax Zone, Grandmaster Ninja, or Super Maelstrom to get the most out of him. For this last one, just activate Pat's Roar and then the Smail's ability and watch the balloons melt away. Depending on where Pat is compared to the rest of your defenses, you might have to change his targeting though. If Pat is up front, you want to set him to strong so that he stuns BFBs and ZOMGs, buying you some extra time to pop them. However, if he is behind your main source of damage, keep him on first so that he cleans up and slaps back the mobs and ceramics that got by. There are 2 other fun strategies that you can pull off with Pat. The first is to buff him with an Overclock, Stronger Stim, and a Village so that Pat has tons of attack speed. This will let Pat permastun just about every round, making the game super easy. This does require a map that only has 1 track, but even on a map like Bloons, it can be very effective. The second is a total transformation strategy. Get some 003 druids all buffed by 5 pop plus, Pat Fusty, and a Call to Arms village. Then transform them with a 051 alchemist. This in itself is a common strategy, but if we pair it with Pat Fusty's Roar and the Call to Arms buff, the DPS output is insane. I mean, you can destroy even round 98 in just a couple seconds. As for Pat's other ability, he learns Big Squeeze at level 10. When activated, he squeezes the strongest non-bad or boss balloon in his range and completely destroys the outer layer. Then, the children balloons become stunned for 2 seconds. This can be incredibly useful for rounds 60, 80, and 97, but because Pat can't attack during this hug, it is best to use it if there are only 1 or 2 MOAB class balloons around. But that is how to properly use Pat Fusty in BTD6.